pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Liz. Steve, is there something we need to report from closed session?
Good evening, Mayor. The council is in closed session this evening for public services or facilities, and there's no action to report.
Thank you very much. Liz, would you please read the video statement?
This meeting of the Galt City Council is being videotaped in its entirety and will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the Government Affairs channel, on the Comcast and SureWest cable systems. Tonight's meeting can be seen on Channel 14 and will also be webcast at www.saxmetrocable.tv this Friday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Tonight's meeting can also be seen via live video streaming on the city's website at www.ci.galt.ca.us. A DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address council should fill out a speaker identification form and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing council and state your name for the record.
Thank you. Council, are there any agenda approval, additions, and or deletions?
Yeah, I'd like to. Well, the only real item, I just have a quick question on number 3 on the consent.
I couldn't hear
Is
you.
your
Microphone on?
Yes, it
I know
is.
mine isn't, so
What number did you say? I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
E3.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Liz, could you please read we got the presentations. Park and Recreation Commission report. Brendan? No? We're going to skip it tonight. I guess we'll skip that tonight. Okay, public comment. Please, Liz, would you read? Under Government Code, Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the council on non-agenda items. Speakers may address council on any agenda item during consideration of the item. Speakers shall restrict their comments to issues that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council and limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the city clerk. Tracy Hansen? Oh, that's Brent.
Better?
Better.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Powers, Vice Mayor Singleton, members of the council and staff. It's my pleasure to be here this evening to introduce our new Deputy Fire Chief, Mike McLaughlin. For those of you who didn't know, John Michelini has retired from service with the Cosumnes Fire Department. Mike has joined us through the city of Merced, where he served as both a division chief and for the last 3 years as their fire chief. So Mike comes to the Cosumnes Fire Department here to serve the city of Galt with a breadth of knowledge, skills, and abilities that I think will be a great asset to our organization and to the city of Galt. A great educational background, lots and lots of experience in the fire service. And we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to introduce him to you formally. His formal badge pinning is on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, the Elk Grove Park Pavilion. We hope to have you join us if that's possible. And again, Mike McLaughlin, just wanted to introduce him to you. And Mike, do you have a couple of words to offer?
Good evening. It's very much an honor to be before you today. I'm now in my 4th week. I don't know where the time has gone. I've been working closely with Chief Michelini over the last couple of months, or a couple of weeks, in becoming indoctrinated, and it's moved very quickly. I'm very much looking forward to working with each and every one of you and working with the city of Galt and throughout the entire district, as well as working throughout the region and doing what we can to improve the level of life and fire safety in the community and work closely with all of you to help you achieve your community goals. And very much, I believe all of you have my card, so if there's anything I can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin.
We're going to finish with public comment, then we'll come back to the Park and Recreation Commission's report. We have Reuben Epstein and Charlotte Wilmot. I'm sorry, Carol.
Yeah, my name is Reuben Epstein, and my wife is with me because my voice gives out tonight or I forget something. She is Carol Womack. As you all know, I have property that is supposed to be a movie theater and a bowling alley. It isn't. It probably won't be. This has been dragging on for over 3 years now. We have signed 2 sales contracts with the city of Galt, neither of which has gotten to the city council for approval. We have just finished up our 3rd 6-month escrow with the developers. They have informed us that they are not going to buy the building under the terms of the contract. We are running out of money to put into it. So we are going to have to put the building up for sale. The city says they want it, but nothing's happening. So we will have to put it on the market. What I want from the city is a signed, clear statement that the city at no time will come after whoever we sell it to using the right of eminent domain to take it away from them. I don't want somebody coming to me saying that they bought it in good faith and then the city's after them and that they want to accuse us of fraud. That if the city is not going to buy it for an entertainment complex, then I need to have the right to sell it. We can't wait anymore. This has been over 3 years now. We have put a lot of money into it and we're running out of money. So, as I say, the only thing we want to ask for is a signed, clear statement that the right of eminent domain will not be used in the future so we can put it up for sale in good faith. Can you think of anything else?
Only that there, for your information, there's no going back. We had sold off parts of the business. We can't just go and start the business again. We're stuck. So we have to liquidate the building before the rest of my retirement and everything else goes in that direction. It's not a fun way to spend your retirement.
Jason, is there anything you want to say, or?
We haven't been involved in discussions,
Okay.
negotiations with the developer.
Okay.
The developer, so they shouldn't have the right to sell the building, be designers.
We have the right to sell the building, but if we sell it and you have the council or the agent, successor agency retains the right of eminent domain, which we understand that they very well likely do, then we can't sell it in good faith. And that's certainly not going to be a good selling point, even if we were willing to do that. So we need that.
Councilmember Payne?
Yeah, I can't let you walk away from there without telling you that I think we feel the pain, as much as we can say that you're going through. I can't let you think that we're not sympathetic to the situation that you're in. I can also say that we've been feeling the pain too, because we had good intentions, good plans, and because the redevelopment agency was dissolved, as you well know. But I'm hoping there can be some outcome that will make this work out. I'm not saying that there is, but I just want you to know that I hope that something will come out that you will have good feelings about the faith that you have in it.
It needs to be very clear. We cannot wait anymore. We have to get this thing on the market soon.
I understand that, and
I don't plan on refinancing our house or taking out a home improvement loan, but one way or another, we have to get rid of it.
Right.
I've got thousands and thousands of dollars on credit cards tied up in this. I sold off parts of the business. That money is gone.
As mentioned, both of my parents died last year, and I came into some money, not humongous amounts, but it would have been a nice nest egg, but it also had to go.
Anyone else?
So, like I said, I just want you to know that we're not going to sit up here and just listen to you and not feel our sympathy for whatever it's worth.
And I think Barbara speaks for the whole council. You know, we've all been stuck between a rock and a hard spot with this redevelopment money, and we've been going to court and doing whatever we possibly can to get our funding freed up, and it's a long, difficult process for all of us, and we understand.
What we are asking for, and we certainly appreciate your expression of sympathy, what we are asking for is a, you know, legal document stating that we won't exercise eminent domain, and we'll guarantee that if we sell this to another party that is going to put money, I mean, this is an old building, it's going to take money to make it,
Right.
you know, worth anything unless they're going to take it down. And that costs money. So who would buy it under those circumstances?
Reuben, I know I've talked to you a lot about this, and I understand your frustration. At this point, I don't know that the city's even in a position to move forward. One, we don't have the bonds to move forward. We don't have an agreement with the developer. But I understand what you're asking for is assurances that the city wouldn't, you know, use, the city or the successor agency use eminent domain proceedings in the future. But quite frankly, if this composition of this council changes, that decision can change. So I think it's difficult for us to even sit here, even if we wanted to guarantee that. So to that extent, I don't know that, you know, I don't know that we could even if we wanted to make any sort of assurance such as that.
We understand that nothing like that would occur or could occur tonight, and I'm sure you have to get some legal counsel, you know, regarding it. But that is what we're requesting, is that you check into that, and we're stuck. We can't do anything. Nobody's going to buy it if the city is saying, oh, we're going to have this complex there in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that is what's come out in the paper. That is what the story is, whether it's valid or not. That's what people are hearing.
Yeah. Why don't I make an offer to sit and meet with you this week, and we can discuss your request and what other options might be available.
Something I forgot to point out is about a year ago, when I went to pay my utility bills, I mentioned to the finance department people I didn't get one for the building. And I said, oh, we heard that you sold it to the city.
Because they thought the city owned it.
They were wrong.
Yeah.
So you'll get with Jason later? You'll get with Jason? You will meet with Jason? Okay.
Sounds good.
Where's Jeffrey?
Good evening. As I stated at the last meeting, I would be coming back to the following meeting. I also plan on being here the 18th of March also. But with that being said, I'll pick up where I left off on the letter that I was reading last time before I was cut off. There were lots of, I bet he doesn't do this, or I bet he does do this. Lots of speculation. And from my sources, I am told that this continued up to and until the day Boyce returned to work after the trial. I've heard this derogatory comments are still being made in meetings and in public places for all to hear. I also heard that on the day the verdict was returned, Armando sent out a message saying, Galt 9, Boyce 3, city wins. Some of my sources found this very disconcerting. And after I left the last meeting, I asked Ms. Islett if they were going to conduct an investigation at the Parks and Recreation Department from the toxic environment that I was employed at for the 3 weeks that I was there. And I asked Mr. Berman, are you going to conduct an investigation of the environment in which I was working in? Thank you, Jason. But I want to go on to another topic. The city's good faith offer. Was it? You made the call. It was stated in the Galt Herald maybe another misquote, Mr. Berman, but we really didn't know whether he would be interested in the position until after it closed. Well, Jason, from reading documents at Parks and Rec for the short time I was there, you conducted interviews. You had selected a priority list. If it was a good faith offer, wouldn't you have offered me the job when you first opened it up back in August? Because the position was approved July 1st. Good faith offer? You ask yourself. We decided to make a direct offer to Boyce as a good faith response. So happens after summary judgment, which I won, the city lost, I get a letter from Ms. Islis the day after the summary judgment was made, offering me the position. FedEx on my porch. Not a phone call, nothing prior to that, after the summary judgment. And I had until September 23rd to either take the position, in which I did, in good faith. And I was supposed to start in October. And I went to take my physical, my drug test, but a red flag went up. Ms. Islis sent me to another firm, doctor, that they utilize for police officers down in Fresno, I guess. So that prolonged my initial starting date. But it isn't practical. Then she responds in an email to me, it isn't practical for the department or for you to start work 1 week before taking unpaid leave for approximately 1 month. I had made arrangements with my other employer to start down here for the city. Good faith offer. Thank you, Jason. As you know, there is various training required to effectively perform the duties of the position. I was here for 27 years. I oversaw that position for over 27 years. My first 4 years, I did the position. And I think it was imperative I would start before the program starts, and that being youth basketball and adult basketball. Then, Jason, knowing this, the only way I could survive was to have 2 jobs. And I could do 2 jobs. And as Jason stated in his memo that he sent me, about a page, denying my request for a second job. But if you look at my testimony at the trial, Mr. Berman, I stated, no matter what my doctor said, that I would work both jobs. That was stated by me, and you knew that. I have considered your request for outside employment carefully, weighing your request and against the needs of the city, and have decided to deny your request at the present time. This decision is based on 2 primary factors. First, the recent trial and your personal position said he was against it, and also on the new position, old position in my mind, of being the recreation coordinator. I came down to this back to this community because I wanted to. I have a love for this community. That love's gone now. A good faith offer on Mr. Berman, a good faith offer. Also, I was a probationary employee. So, no matter what I did, didn't do, so on and so forth, they can let go of a probationary employee for no reason. So that brings up another memo, email I received from my direct supervisor, Armando Solis. That next, when I received that email from Mr. Berman, I requested to take the following day off because I had to make some decisions for myself and for my family. I get an email, which I know Armando didn't word, because I've known the guy for 10 years and I know how he writes. Took him 2 hours to get back to me when I requested that time off, or that day off. It says, as we discussed, the city needs for you to report to work on time in accordance with your schedule. Any request for an authorized absence must be submitted to me and approved prior to you taking the time off. Therefore, your time off today will be considered an unauthorized absence. I guess I should have called him sick. I guess I should have called him sick. I know there's a lot of the public still think I work at the city. That's nothing's been written about me, which I don't care. That's the newspaper's prerogative. But in order for me to survive, I had to resign. I don't think this agreement was approved by council at the council meeting, nor in closed session. It's again Mr. Berman's call, which I think council's given them an open checkbook if it comes to money. But here it states, in exchange for Jeffrey's agreement to resign from his employment with the city, waive any appeal of the judgment in the action, forego filing any post-trial motions, and agree not to apply for employment with city in the future. City agrees to release the quit and forever discharge. Jeffrey, his attorney, Meritless Community Successors hires and assigns, but never to apply to the city again. Are you aware of that, council? Can I keep going, Liz? So like 3 minutes.
I'm going to let you keep going. How much more do you have for?
I could be here for another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, then I'm going to have you come back.
Okay, no, I plan on coming back because I have, there's 22 days of trial and depositions that I will be addressing. Basically, the citizens that are unaware of what really transpired. So, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, Brendan, are you out there for the Parks and Recreation Commission report, please? Come on down.
Thank you. I appreciate your time this evening. Some time that was it's probably a couple of months due to some personal issues. In January, the January meeting, when I was supposed to present to the council just a summary of the activities of the Parks and Rec Commission, of which I was stepping down as the chairman of starting in January, and Don Buchanan is the chairman this year of the commission. So Armando, I know Armando has probably given you a good summary about some of the things, sort of the highlights of our activities last year. So I just wanted to, out of respect for you, and also in order to discharge my duties fully, wanted to just possibly reiterate some of those and mention a few others perhaps. So I think probably one of the main accomplishments I feel of the commission last year was had to do with the coordinating with the city council and members of the community for the Officer Ton Memorial. So I'd like to thank Council Member Singleton for bringing that to our attention. We successfully formed an ad hoc committee, I believe I can call it success, with the council and with the commission and a lot of the different members of the community to go forward with that project. And I feel like that's going to be a beautiful symbol of the officer's sacrifice when that comes around. I know a lot of the segments of the community will be involved, and that was huge and important and worth the time it took for us to get that out there. So that's an effort that continues. The other, probably another important event that arose was near the end of the year when there were some questions that came up regarding some decisions that we had made a couple of years ago regarding raising some fees for participants in the sports in the city, and some information for the city's finances at that time too. So also like to thank Mr. Berman for coming to the next meeting and giving us an excellent summary and providing all the information that we requested, and sort of filling us in on the process of the city's budget, and it definitely cleared things up for us as far as that issue was concerned. We also discussed the possibility of whether we would be meeting every other month, or instead of every month as we do, and of course that will be, you know, at the pleasure of the current chairman or other members of the commission to bring up perhaps in the future. But we felt it was important for us, even in this age of emails and electronic communication, that we were there, even though, you know, we don't have a larger crowd as you do here tonight, typically at our meetings, but I only remember one in my 3 or 4 years there on the commission. But we felt it is important to be there in case somebody does have something to say to us from the community, and so I hope we will continue to do so. So I have taken enough of your time this evening, so I do appreciate your time, and again, I apologize for not being here in January. So thanks again.
Well, I do want to say that on behalf of the council, and if anyone else wants to say something, we appreciate the time and commitment you put to being on this commission. We know it's voluntary, and we do respect and honor what you have to say. It's been, a few things have been brought to us, and they say it should be going back to the Parks and Rec Commission first. So would you just convey that to the rest of the commission from us, please, that we are grateful for your commitment.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're in. Okay, we're at the consent calendar, and Councilmember Campion, you want to speak on E3?
Yeah.
The purchase of the 2 traffic enforcement motorcycles?
I'm unclear in reading the report. Do we have 1 motorcycle or 2 motorcycles currently?
1.
Do we have 1 motorcycle or 2?
We have to.
We do have 2. And what are the mileage on these? Because I'm not certain.
The one that's not working and down and needs repair to get it back on the road has about 35,000 miles. Both motorcycles were purchased at the same time and both about 9 years old.
And they both have about 35,000.
The other one has a little bit less than 35,000 miles, but it's considered it's not as in good shape as the primary one, and that one is having mechanical problems itself. 9 years of driving around Galt's pretty hard miles, even though the mileage isn't like a traditional BIA.
Yes. Okay, that was it. And it's only question I had.
Okay, Councilmember Payne had a question.
If we purchase these 2 motorcycles, does that mean the next step will be taking someone off patrol for the other motorcycle?
Yes, in anticipation of some hiring we've been doing, as I was arriving to the city of Galt in August, we had trained a second officer in the motorcycle, use of the motorcycle, and had him qualified. We've purchased his equipment, and now that he's done doing a training cycle with one of our new employees, we will start having him work on the overlap day with Officer Fuentes, who's our current traffic officer, to get him up to speed. And we hope soon after July 1st, we'll have both of those folks working in tandem, not on the same shift, but covering the street, you know, more regularly.
But we will be taking someone off of patrol to do the traffic.
And we're only able to do that because we're filling positions that we've been running vacant on.
One of the programs that we've been working on for some time has been to establish a beat type of situation with our police officers, so they get to know the people on their beat, the citizens. My concern is, because I understand that traffic or motorcycle police officers do not participate in that type of a situation. My concern is that we're taking another person off of patrol to put on motorcycle traffic, that again, we will not be making progress in our efforts to establish good relationships in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and as you know, we switched our computer-aided dispatch system in September of last year and reformulated the beat structure. So we have 3 beats in the city for normal staffing, and we will still be able to field those 3 beats for normal staffing with the exception of late night hours on graveyard. We dropped that to 2. And so we can still maintain the integrity of that with our current scheduling program that we have in place, with the potential that we will be revisiting the schedules that we currently deploy to be more efficient.
And the other comment I want to make and explore with you is, for example, now that we've had rain, I noticed our motorcycle officers cannot operate on motorcycles, so you have to have a backup car. So do we have all of that in place?
Yes, we currently have the car that was slated to be replaced, and I elected and was approved in the budget done by this council, I guess a year and a half, 2 years ago, allocated out of the traffic fund the purchase of the car. That car, although an older car, only has about 70,000 miles on it, and I see enough residual in the traffic fund in 2 years to make that purchase of the vehicle. And I thought it was more important with the age of the motorcycles and the braking system on the Harleys in that generation of motorcycles to get those off the street and put the motorcycles in front of the car replacement for the traffic. But they do have a vehicle available to them that Officer Fuente is using.
And finally, can you tell me, from your point of view, why you feel like it's so important to take this person off of patrol and put him on motorcycle duty?
I might punt a little bit that to the chief because he is the chief and it's his vision. I'm supporting that vision. But the goal has always been to have 2 traffic officers. There are 2 motorcycles that we do own and have historically owned. In fact, at one time we owned 4 motorcycles.
I know.
Yeah.
And we sold them.
And we sold them. And so we have the 2 motorcycles for what we envision to be a 2-person traffic unit. And with the rebuild of the staffing structure, we're able to place that second person there. I can assure you that the beat structure integrity will be maintained with the 3-beat system moving forward, and we're committed to the other issues related to the concerns we've discussed.
Okay. Thank you. Keith?
The real reason here, and I know that you've received several complaints from different people within the community regarding traffic issues. It's much easier to do traffic enforcement with the motorcycles, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to switch to a service request where any citizen has a problem within their neighborhood, they can call us, we can put out the form, then direct our traffic people, who are the people on the motorcycles, to those problem areas to address it for any citizen within the community. And hopefully resolving that issue as far as speeding, running stop signs or whatever. And that's why we want to do it. As the lieutenant mentioned, there's some things that we're looking at as far as allegation of personnel and if we're really effective in what we're doing, and we'll be talking with the Association of Police Officers regarding some of that. And in doing that, we'll probably end up, if we're successful, as far as putting actually more people on the street with a different structure as far as how we allocate staff.
And I am encouraged also by the work that the Galt PD are doing with their block parties, which we have one coming up.
Yes.
That will also help us to create the relationship that we're trying to create between the citizens and the Galt Police Department. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I did have a question, I don't know who to answer. The 2 motorcycles that are to be, I guess, abandoned for use, I suspect we'll either sell or trade or do something with those. And
most likely we'll put them up for auction as far as they'll go out to the highest bidder.
Okay. And do the proceeds of that go back to Fund 4, or what fund do you have to backtrack to see which fund those were purchased from?
I believe that they will actually go back to the general fund as far as the revenue back to the city.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, council? Would you read the recommended action, please, Liz?
Approve the purchase of 2 police motorcycles using budgeted funds in the traffic fund 04, originally approved in the budget for a vehicle purchase.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Sorry. Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye. Passed unanimously.
5-0.
5-0.
Oh, we don't need to.
Now for the other two on the consent calendar, the minutes of the special and regular meetings of February 18th and the City of Galt warrants. Do I have a motion, please?
Move the items.
Second, please.
Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye, passed unanimously, 5-0. Thank you. Now it's at the strategic plan, and that's me. Okay. So we're going to start off with the, can we turn it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Enhance and maintain infrastructure and facilities. On April 15th at the City Council meeting, the council member Barbara Payne, lead police chief, public works director, special projects administrator, community development director, with input from the Parks and Recreation Commission and Galt Youth Baseball, will develop and present to the City Council for action a plan to improve Harvey Park and the livability of the surrounding areas, including park facilities, code enforcement, crime prevention, and the cost. Who's going to take that one?
I can start off.
I was going to say, there may be multiple parts, so Barbara, if you want to talk about the event, and I can talk about the update on the improvements to Harvey Park.
Well, due to rain, we have rescheduled the block party at Harvey Park to the 14th, March 14th, I believe is correct. And hopefully, I don't know, it's hard to say we don't want the rain because we maybe do want the rain. But at that time, our Galt Youth Committee, as well as the fire department, the police department's cadets will be there in force to start an idea to reclaim Harvey Park for families. I'm happy to say the beautification committee has jumped on board with this project, and they've committed to take the, what would it be, the northeast corner where the flagpole is, and beautify it with flowers, and they're doing it at their own expense. They've also been out and collected a little money from the, we used to call them Sister Bitch Club, but now we're calling the Emerald Drive Luncheon Ladies Group, and they collected $100 towards that project. So we're getting the community on board to make Harvey Park a park that's going to be safe for families and one that we can be proud of. And I'll turn it over now to Steve.
I can...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let Steve Stein to update the council.
I'll defer to my boss.
Smart man.
The council will recall that the city is eligible for some grant funding to make some improvements at Harvey Park, and the council directed us to go back and work with Galt Youth Baseball, with the Parks and Rec Commission, develop a list of projects, which we've done. We've had a meeting with, I think, both of those groups, Galt Youth Baseball, Parks and Rec Commission. I know the Beautification Committee was involved, and staff has been involved. So we have the master list of improvements. Public Works staff now is working on putting costs associated with each of the improvements on the list. So then we'll come back to Galt Youth Baseball, Parks and Rec Commission, and ask them to prioritize those list of projects, and then we'll bring those prioritized recommendations to the City Council to approve the final list. So in the next couple of months, we'll probably be ready to bring that back to you.
Great. That's good news all the way around. It's a good project. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Okay, moving right along. We're going to enhance economic development, and by February 15th, 2014, the city manager will hire a community development director. Jason?
All right. Well, I am pleased to report that we have hired a new community development director, and the start date is March 31st. His name is Tony Stewart. Comes to us from San Bernardino, California. He's the acting director of community development down there. We're really looking forward to him starting. He seems anxious to get on board and get to know the community, get to know the city council. So we're really looking forward to having him start with the city. I think our city clerk is working on getting a press release put together and have that out here shortly to let the rest of the community know a little bit about him. But we're really looking forward to having that position filled.
Thank you. Now, another one of our goals is to improve financial stability, and by June 1st, 2014, the Chief of Police will obtain a long-term use agreement with CDCR, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, for the Regional Law Enforcement Training Facility.
We have
we've had several meetings with CDCR, and there's been some turn of events. They have actually been cutting back on their staff, and now they're what they call ramping up. We're looking at 3,400 trainees coming through their center this year, this coming fiscal year. 2,400 the year after, another 24, and then they'll be status quo at about 1,900. So their needs regarding our range have changed somewhat, and we've been discussing some of the improvements that were approved by council as far as looking into possibly changing the configuration of the range and what have you. I know that council's aware that we had some issues regarding some wetlands that were developed because of the sewage reclaimed water that was going back into the creek, and that we're looking at a new location. So with all these different things going on, we're still working at a agreement. We do believe that we might be able to bring them here with some changes to the range, and that they might abandon 2 other ranges they use, which could increase some revenue to the city. We met with them on the 20th, and we're supposed to be back meeting with them probably next week again to see how far we've moved forward as far as what they're looking for and what the city might be able to provide.
Thank you. And we do have attract, development, and retain quality employees, and just to let you know that Paula is working on the Survey Monkey. And then enhance cultural and youth activities. At the April 1st, 2014 City Council meeting, Mayor Mary Lou Powers and Police Chief co-leads, working with the City Attorney and City Clerk with input from the community, will identify the need and define the parameters of a Community Cultural Advisory Committee and recommend to the City Council for action. So we'll, as soon as we have our meeting, we'll be reporting that back. Okay. I think it's Mr. Winkler, but I'm watching. Oh, Steve. The employee relations policy, please, Steve.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. The body of law that governs the relationship between public agencies and their employees relating to the terms of employment is known as the Myers-Milius-Brown Act. And that act authorizes the city to adopt rules and regulations for the administration of the employer-employee relationship. The city's rules were last amended back in 2001, but some recent changes in the act have prompted the city to review those rules and to bring an update to the City Council for consideration this evening. The changes that prompted the review were 2. First was AB 646, which is known as mandatory fact-finding. And what that provides is that in a situation where the city reaches an impasse with an employee organization over negotiating an agreement, the organization, the employee organization, has the option to send the dispute, send the issue to an advisory fact-finding body made up of 3 parties, including 1 from the Public Employee Relations Board. The second item that was changed was AB 537, and this sets a timeline for the City Council to review any tentative agreements that come out of negotiations with the various city unions. So the rules have been amended to incorporate those provisions in our rules. We also took the opportunity to make some other cleanup changes to the rules. I'd be happy to go through the changes between the 2001 rules and the current set if you desire. Before bringing them forward this evening, I did meet with the GPOA and the GPSU, and both organizations are satisfied with the rules as presented to the City Council this evening. I did notice in reviewing the rules today that there was one typo under Article 4, Section B. In the first line, the last word is state, and that should be actually stating. But other than that change, the rules are presented for your consideration and adoption this evening. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions?
I wanted to clarify that this is as a result of a state requirement, is that correct?
Well, there's not an obligation to have rules. It's certainly a good thing for the city to have them. We have had rules in place for many years. What prompted the change in these rules was, in fact, new state legislation.
And I guess I want to ask, would there possibly be a new cost to the city for the fact-finding procedure?
Well, the adoption of AB 646, the fact-finding statute, will potentially result in additional cost to the city if a union decides to utilize that procedure. But irregardless of whether you adopt these rules tonight, that is now part of state law, and so that cost is already a potential for the city.
And I guess the point I wanted to make, is this a cost that will be borne by the city or by the state?
If a union selects to go to a fact-finding procedure, then the cost is shared equally between the union and the city.
By the state.
What?
But not by the state.
Are we surprised?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Well, at least it wasn't taking anything away. Anything else, Council?
I had a question under Article 9, I believe it is. It says revocation of recognition. It says the city manager may revoke the recognition of an exclusively recognized employee organization that does any of the following, and then it lists 4 specific violations. I guess my concern is that there isn't an appeal process here, in that the city manager, whoever he is or she is, could, make a determination. It appears as though without a whole lot of findings to be made, at least from what I'm reading here, in order to substantiate that decision. So my first question is shouldn't there be a basis of finding? And then secondly, shouldn't there also be an appeal procedure similar to what there is under the new provisions that we talked about, which precipitated this change? But that's really kind of a council decision too, whether you want to offer an appeal procedure to an employee group based on what the future city manager or the city manager may make, because it doesn't put forth how this occurs other than it appears to be a determination based by that individual, period.
I actually think that determination would be appealable. If you go to Article 13 under appeals, that first paragraph says that an employee organization agreed by an appropriate unit determination of the employee relations officer, which in fact is the city manager, may, within 10 days of notice, request the intervention of the California State Conciliation Service, or may in lieu appeal such determination to the city council for final determination. So I think that's a broad statement that would cover any essentially any determination by the city manager under this resolution.
It identifies specific articles, but does not include Article 9.
Yeah, I think that is...
I'm looking at the second paragraph.
Yeah, you're looking at the second paragraph, and the point I was making is that I think that the first paragraph and that first statement is pretty broad. An organization agreed by a determination of the employee relations officer may appeal, but if the council desires, one way to clarify that issue would be to add Article 9 into the second paragraph if the city council desires. And we can certainly make that change this evening.
Well, before we go that direction, aren't they also covered by their individual MOUs in that respect? In other words, they have the right to appeal within their MOUs.
I don't think that the MOUs would govern the situation where the union was basically decertified or revoked by the city manager.
Right.
But in order to just avoid any ambiguity on the issue, one approach would be just to add that Article 9 into the second paragraph of Article 13. If you desire to approve it tonight, you could recommend approval with that amendment.
I would recommend approval with that
Yeah.
amendment. I mean, that's all the comments I have unless someone else has
No, and I
some
think-
comments.
Okay, so, anyone else, comments? All right, Councilmember Campion, then do you want to make the motion so you can put that in there,
Sure.
please?
I would move approval of the employer-employee relations policy adopting a resolution, amending with a proposed change to Article 13 to be inclusive of Article 9 regarding appeal process.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton,
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion,
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz,
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, now we're at the city manager's office, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a communication site license agreement with STC5 LLC, Crown Castle USA Incorporated.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. My pleasure to present this item to you this evening. Back in 2000, the City Council entered into a lease agreement with Sprint Telecom that was subsequently bought or transferred to Crown Castle. The current contract expires in 2020. There's a cell tower that's located at our Municipal Services Center at 495 Industrial near the Police Department. See the big tower there? There's actually a couple different carriers on it. We were approached by Crown Castle several months ago. They wanted to renegotiate and extend the term of the lease. They're getting some pressure from some of their carriers that they wanted a longer term to lock in their ability to lease and use that tower. And so what is presented before you this evening is the renegotiated contract with many of the same terms with a longer extension on it. The same current lease rate that the city is receiving right now, which is about $26,000 a year, is still the same. That increases 3% every year. We did negotiate that in the year 2020, that there would be a 15% rate increase. That was the time when the current lease agreement would expire. This lease amount is similar to other cell tower leases that we have in the city. The city still has the ability to co-locate our own equipment on there, which we have on there right now, so we retain that right. The contract would be extended through 2035, so an additional 15 years beyond the current contract. In addition, the city will receive a one-time signing bonus of $7,500 at the time the lease is signed. It also results in an additional $13,000 because we're switching the way the payments are received. Instead of monthly, we're going to receive one annual payment, so it means an extra $13,000 in the current fiscal year. So the total value or benefit to the city in the current fiscal year of additional revenue is about $20,000, a little over $20,000. That's recognized on here with the budget change form that you see that's attached to this agreement. So the recommendation this evening for the City Council is to adopt a resolution authorizing the City Manager to execute the communication site license agreement with Crown Castle and to approve the budget change of additional revenue in the amount of $20,716.74 for fiscal year 13-14. I'm happy to answer any questions the Council might have.
Questions, Council?
I do. I'm a little concerned about the length of this, going to 2035. The dynamics in this whole industry for that length of time, anything could happen. Why do you feel that the city is well served to extend this contract to 2035? Not that we'll be around then.
Right. Well, a couple different reasons, I guess. Typically, leases of this type are 20 years. So if you look out, it's about a 20-year lease if you started it right now, which when we negotiated back in 2000, it was a 20-year lease. We went from 20 to 2020. So it's a similar time frame to what was originally negotiated in the lease. The financing terms are favorable for the city. We're receiving the same amount, and to have the security of knowing that we're going to have that revenue in perpetuity. We don't have any plans to do anything else. It's kind of landlocked behind MSC. I consulted with both PD and Public Works about the space that's back there, and so we couldn't envision any future possible need for that in exchange, because we'd be losing it. If we did decide to do something with it, that means we're losing out on the $26,000 in revenue we're receiving now. And again, that amount goes up every year. So by the time you get to 2020, we're up over, $35,000. So it's a significant revenue source for the city. And so to avoid the risk of having these carriers get nervous and hop to a cell tower at another location, that we thought it was good to lock it up to a long-term contract and allow those carriers to stay, so we still have that revenue stream coming into the city.
And as far as maintenance, that's up to them?
Yes.
Maintain the tower and everything?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, council? So I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye, approved unanimously 5-0. Now, the approval of state revolving fund loan resolutions for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project CIP number 53Z. Mr. Winkler?
Madam Mayor and City Council, tonight is the next step in a series of steps that we've been sharing with you just about monthly now, and that's going to continue to expedite completion of regulatory required improvements at the wastewater treatment plant, and these are some large steps that we're taking. Tonight's action is actually a proactive step to sort of pre-authorize a potential set of resolutions that would lead to a loan agreement with the state for state revolving fund loans at a very attractive interest rate. And tonight, Mr. John Griffin will be providing just a few quick slides to familiarize you with our recommendation and the background.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. As Steve mentioned, tonight's actions are preparatory in nature regarding the potential state revolving fund loan. This is not committee tonight. We don't commit ourselves to a state revolving fund loan. This is the next step in the process. Staff has researched different options, and we believe this is by far the most advantageous to the city. Since September of 2011, the state revolving fund loan interest rates have been right around 2%. They're currently at 2.1%, and that's very good for a loan for the city. So recognizing that, we've been working on an application for the past 6 months, and we're currently now at final review stage with state management to, and these resolutions are one of the last steps in the process. These resolutions then get incorporated into an agreement that we will bring back for council review and approval. In summary, there are 3 resolutions. The first one is a financial assistance application, and what that does is first it identifies who the city's authorized representative is. The agreement, you need to have a point of contact for execution of agreement, and that identifies the city manager as that point of contact. And it also authorizes Jason at the time we decided to move forward to actually execute an agreement with the state. The second resolution is a revenue pledge, and that commits the city to using the sewer enterprise fund as the basis for payment of the annual loan payment back to the state. And also it commits the city to using collecting revenues in the future and maintaining the sewer revenue fund balance through the term of the agreement. And then it also identifies the sewer fund, identifies the SRF loan as a lien holder to the sewer fund. The third item is a reimbursement request, and the reimbursement request identifies a ceiling maximum amount we could request to be reimbursed for, and that's $29 million. Now, we're not committing to that amount, but that's the ceiling. We want to make it a little higher than what we're currently estimated to be, just in case we have unfortunate bids, for example. And then also the reimbursement request identifies that the city may desire reimbursement for prior project costs, such as the facilities management plan that we've completed, the environmental studies, the pre-design, and the design. Along with this, we will be presenting a financing plan workshop and that'll be discussed next, but it's kind of a teaser. What we'll be doing with that is identifying what other financing options there would be available to the city. We will, at that point, recommend a loan amount and identify what potential rate implications there will be as we move forward with this loan agreement. By now, you guys are used to, you've seen a slide with every presentation, and we've added a couple new items on there, as Steve mentioned. Tonight is the SRF resolution. Next month, our plan is to bring back a draft wastewater plant financial plan, and that will have, again, that's what we'll be discussing in more detail, the SRF loan and the conditions in the funding agreement. And at that point, we're looking to make more of a decision on which route we choose for how to finance the loan. And from that draft discussion, that's where policy decisions will be made, and those policy decisions will be reflected as the basis for an upcoming rate study. In May, we'll then present the final financial plan with construction still scheduled, or bid award in June. And these actions then keep us on schedule for our September 2015 compliance deadline. In conclusion, again, we're recommending the adoption of the 3 resolutions: the financial assistance application resolution, revenue pledge resolution, and the reimbursement request resolution. With that, that concludes our presentation, and we're open to any questions the council may have.
Councilmember Cruz?
I understand you're saying that we're on task for 2015. I have to admit that's tight, considering what you guys are going to be going up against. My biggest concern is we're going to have another situation like we had in Live Oak. Is there any guarantee that's not going to happen?
I'll take that bullet. No, there are no guarantees, but we are doing everything we can to build into the contract documents a very solid set of pre-qualification questions they have to answer as part of submitting the bid and picking a responsive and responsible bidder. We also have 3 tiers of liquidated damages going as high as $7,500 a day for certain critical fine-sensitive deadlines that will need to be met.
And whoever we award this to will be aware of the fact that this is going to happen. We're not pulling our punches because we have a deadline.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
And they'll be signing on
There's
the dotted
also
line also.
There's also a mandatory pre-bid meeting so that we know who's coming and we can reiterate some of these things that will be a key focus as they're preparing their bids.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Do we need to reread the action, please?
Okay. Adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign and file a financial assistance application with the State Water Resources Control Board. Number 2, adopt a resolution pledging revenues for repayment of a state revolving fund loan if received. And number 3, adopt a resolution stating the maximum request loan amount and the city's intent to submit reimbursement requests to the State Water Resources Control Board for project costs.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye, a unanimous 5-0. Okay, now we're going to adjourn to the city council and convene to the Galt successor agency. Roll call, please, Liz.
Board Members Singleton?
Here.
Payne? Here. Campion?
Here.
Cruz?
Here.
Powers?
Here. Any public comment?
I have no speaker sheet.
Okay, any information consent calendar? Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to accept.
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Board Member Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
5-0. Okay, now we're going to adjourn the Galt successor agency and reconvene to the Galt City Council. And we're back to you, Liz, City Clerk's report.
Just a few reminders, the Parks and Rec Commission will meet here in the council chambers on March 12th at 7 p.m. On March 13th, the Planning Commission will meet at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers. And that takes us to our next meeting on March 18th.
Okay. Comments by staff, I'll start over here and we'll work our way around. No? What? Yeah, over here, to my left.
Yes, just a quick update. We continue to provide moving target updates on Twin Cities Road construction, and this last weather has delayed the reopening of the new southbound on-ramps off of Twin Cities Road on the west side. But we are negotiating with Caltrans for a night closure, and it's changed 3 times in the last 72 hours, but we're currently targeting Monday evening. We think we've got a window of warmer, dry weather. We have to do some restriping at night as well, and so wet pavement wasn't conducive to that. Then our hope is that within the next 10 days that we will take the next large step on the east side of 99 and closing the East Stockton Boulevard, both north and south of Twin Cities, for an extended closure of up to 2 months to start the next major roundabout preparatory approach work and the on and off ramp transitions that will be necessary, as well as some frontage improvements for the new McDonald's site, get that done so we have a place to put traffic when we actually start the final construction approach to the overpass. And we're currently negotiating with Caltrans on when that can occur so that we can then take the final 2 steps of the overpass and roundabout completion, and then the west approach from the west on Twin Cities Road to complete the project. And the goal is to get all this done by the end of May so that we're not obstructing Walmart's grand opening plans later in June. And that's going to be a tall order, but we're thinking positively and twisting arms where we can to make that happen for you.
Great, thank you, and just keep us, okay, just a sec, just keep us up posted, you know, like you're doing. And Vice Mayor Singleton?
So the signals out on the east side of Stockton Boulevard today on Twin Cities had nothing to do with the project then, is that correct? Or you're not aware of that?
The signals being out?
Yeah.
I was not aware they were out. I don't know if that was a SMUD problem or
I don't know.
other problem.
Maybe you knew something about
I drove through there twice today, and they were working the 2 times I drove through.
Yeah, they were out.
Caltrans.
I thought, man, they're not going to be closing us down now, are they? So, okay.
No, we're just a practice run, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Chief.
Just like to inform council that we hired a new dispatcher. She started on Monday, and we just got the results back, and it looks like it's a possibility of hiring another one very shortly.
Awesome. Great, good news. Awesome. Jason. Steve. Councilmember Campion.
Nothing this evening.
Councilmember Cruz.
Not a thing.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Nope.
Councilmember Payne.
Couple things. The Galt Community Alliance, newly formed city committee, will meet next Monday at 6 o'clock at the Parks and Rec building. Busy time for the Galt Youth Committee. We'll be spending the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day at Golden Living Nursing Home.
Oh, how nice.
We'll wear our green beads and wish all the patients there St. Patrick's Day good luck. And then, of course, we're working on the Harvey Park project. There will be not only the youth out there, but the churches will be there. There will be bounce houses for the little kids as well as food. So everybody, hope that day maybe doesn't rain and come out and support our efforts.
Well, I'm very sorry to say I'm going to miss that because I'm going on vacation. You changed the date, what can I say? No.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, I have nothing else to say either except for go A's, and I'll see you when I get back.